Empty.
All right.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining us for Let Your Words Count. We appreciate you all. We are live today for episode number 39 of Let Your Words Count.
I had to fix potential.
With the words on there wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 39 today. Ethan, what's on your mind, man? What's going on with you?
Oh man, I'm just happy to do another show.
Absolutely.
And we got a lot done today. We had a little bit of music we took care of.
For sure.
And we about to have a good time with another
project.
Another word
right.
for today is potential. Right?
Potential.
Yeah. So but anyway, how you doing, bro?
I can't complain, bro. Can't complain. Also looking at the potential, man. Like you said, we got 2 albums kind of getting cooked up right now, for one for Evergrace, one for DMF. So again, talking about potential and what we're doing here with the show, man. It's just a lot of potential things in front of us, man. Goals, energy, all kind of stuff, bro. I was looking forward to it. Trying to make the most of it, you know?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we can go on and get started with today's word of potential. Here at Let Your Words Count, where we explore the meanings behind the words that shape our lives. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you have a word you'd like to suggest to us, we will use your word. If we use your word, we will shout you out at the beginning of the show. And thank you for giving us the inspiration to cover and address that word. Make you a part of the show's history, right? So with the word potential, Ethan, if you wouldn't mind throwing up the definition on the screen for us, please, sir.
Oh yeah.
The definition of potential is the capacity to develop. I got distracted because I think we're on 39, but it doesn't matter. Potential is the capacity to develop into something in the future. It refers to possibilities that are not yet realized but are inherent within a person, idea, or situation. One more time, the definition: potential is the capacity to develop into something in the future. It refers to possibilities that are not yet realized but are inherent within a person, idea, or situation. Ethan, if you would not mind taking the etymology or word derivation for us, please, sir.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
So the etymology is from Latin potentialis, meaning powerful, and potentia, meaning power or force, originally related to energy and capability.
Love it.
All right. It speaks to what lies beneath the surface, ready to be actualized. I really like that.
I like that too.
So
I like that too.
yeah, go ahead, brother.
While we're on it, I just want to quickly throw out, because this, I think, outside of the potential of somebody, again, we tend to talk about potential for humans in terms of the potential to reach a goal or certain status or certain achievements in life. There's also another main use of that word in science, in physics, talking about potential energies. So just as a point of reference, I want to just read that definition as well. Potential energy is stored energy that an object possesses due to its position, shape, or condition, and it has the potential to be converted into other forms of energy, like kinetic energy or energy of motion. And it's the energy an object has before it starts moving or changing. So I thought that part, especially that ending, the energy an object has before it starts moving or changing, also I think fits very nicely into the way we've defined potential here in terms of human capability, right?
Interesting. Okay, so even if it's stagnant, basically, if it's at a, or not stagnant, if it's at a static position, you're saying even if the, I would say, inanimated, is that the right word? Inanimated object, it still has the possibilities, even if it's just staying static.
Yeah. right?
Yeah, go
The
ahead.
comparison being like a baseball that's resting on the ground doesn't have the potential energy as one that's resting up on the shelf. If that shelf were to give way, that baseball that would fall from that elevated shelf has more, room for gravity to act on it versus the ball that's already on the ground and can't go down any further, right? So an object that's sitting still, again, that's why I said it, and I like the way you define this. An object has stored energy based on its position, shape, or condition. The same ball on the ground has less potential energy than, a baseball on the ground has less potential energy than that same ball being raised up and put on a shelf that has more gravity acting on it, right? More.
You know what? That's interesting because I do want to read something else, everyone, for this for the history. So historically, potential was used in philosophical and scientific contexts, similar to what G was just reading, Gary was just reading. Aristotle differentiated between potentiality and actuality. What something could become versus what it already is. In modern usage, it's become deeply personal, or talents, ideas, and growth. So one thing that Gary said, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said what something could become versus what it already is.
Absolutely.
So if you're saying that the baseball on the ground, without any other objects that can allow it to move, it is where it's at. It's already moved and stationed. That potential force of movement is gone now, and is already positioned where it's going to land outside of any other influences, right? But versus this baseball that is on the table, if someone bumps the table, you've given that ability to the ball, to move and to have the potential to be somewhere else,
Right.
Well, if I'm explaining that right.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah, but go ahead.
It's an abstract concept, right? So, because again, you think about the same ball. It's the position. You change the position of it, and that changes and gives it more potential energy that has the ability to be converted into kinetic, right? So, same as we talked about the person. It's just it's an object. The energy an object has before it starts changing or moving, and the same can apply to human beings, right?
So I was okay. I'm trying not to go off too far from potential, but it reminds me of a conversation we had a couple of weeks ago about, if I remember correctly, was it surrender, or was it
A couple episodes ago, we talked about surrender.
right? It was no, servitude.
Ah, okay.
It was servitude, right? So when we were talking about with servitude, we were talking about, as an example, if Gary, I needed a place to live, right? And the least I can do is take out your trash. I see that I'm broke and different things like that.
Right.
The foresight that you have, right? Saying that if I don't take out the trash, there's a chance that roaches may come, rats may come, and different things like that, right? So are we saying also recognizing the future in that regard as well too? That's potentials, right? We're talking about potential, having foresight in some regard for the potentiality of things to come to fruition if certain choices are not made.
Sure. Sure.
And I think that that's pretty powerful, man. I didn't want to go off too far off the subject, man, but I thought that was pretty interesting that actually rolled into the word of potential, of servitude, right? You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying?
It speaks about the possibility, right?
Yeah,
So if you don't take out the trash, it's possible you'll have rats and roaches. If you don't get up and go to work, it's possible you'll have no job and be broke, right? So
I think it's highly
for sure. So that ability to recognize what's possible, and if we turn that inward towards a human being, this is, again, a common thread of what we talk about on the show is a person realizing, we talk about people realizing their potential a lot, setting your own goals, you having an idea of what it is you would like to do, what's possible, what things could you potentially do, or goals could you set for yourself out there in the future that are realistic and are achievable, right?
Yeah.
So I think being able to recognize things that are a possibility in your life, that's how we go about setting goals for ourselves. So if we for some reason lack ambition, lack self-confidence, lack self-motivation or value, right, in ourselves, we may fail to set realistic goals for ourselves, if we set any at all. Or we might set the bar lower than what we can achieve, right? This is also something to kind of be aware of, not to set the bar too low. Like, hey, if I, it's great. If you wake up and you get out of bed in the morning, that's great. But if that's the extent of your goals, you can do so much more than
Yes.
just get out of the bed, right? So recognizing that, yes, I can get out of the bed, but I can do more than that too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So go further with that thought a little bit about. I know we were talking about this before we got on online, and I was thinking about there's so many ways we can take this.
Sure.
With potential.
Sure.
Before we do that, I do want to talk about the emotional lens.
Absolutely.
We have to talk about the emotional lens.
Very good.
Right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
we're going to bring that up real quick. Okay. So the emotional lens. So potential for the emotional lens standpoint, feeling positive or negative. Okay. So from a positive standpoint, it's inspiration, inspires hope, motivation, vision, and ambition. Okay. The negative side may cause pressure, fear of failure, or regret when unfulfilled. So I think that it's important for us to tackle the positive side, because I think that it really leans more to the positive side, right? But we can't miss, or avoid talking about the negative side, because there's a huge impact when it comes to the negative side.
Absolutely.
So the question is why? Because potential speaks to what could be.
Yes.
And it brings both excitement and responsibility.
That's a very important point, because that statement, right, speaking to what could be, that in itself is a very scary thing to a lot of people, right? Because feeling helpless or not having enough information to understand the potential of what might be, that's a terrifying thought to somebody. And this is what I think, at least for me, makes the discussion interesting. When we're bringing up a word that tends to have a default positive or negative understanding, I like, this potential is a word that when it first hits my ear makes me think, okay, this is positive. And right, we looked at that in the emotional lens. It talks about hope. It kind of gives you a mindset of growth, hope, possibilities, a good outlook on things. So being that it's a word that tends to evoke positive emotions, I find it interesting to look at, well, how is there a negative aspect to this word? Because
beautiful.
Sometimes you think so much about, okay, when I hear potential, I tend to think positive, right? But the fact that the word potential can mean or can infer something negative to people, that's interesting to me, right? It's like it's fascinating how you can apply, and this is for all the words, even if we have a word that tends to hit you as a negative word, finding that there is a way to spin that as positive, that's empowering, right? So if we have a word that seems positive that can also have a negative connotation to it, it's also worth understanding. It could be empowering in that way. I'm not sure who would want to take a positive word and desire to use it in a negative way, but understanding that it has that potential, right? That it has that potential, that it has that capability, that possibility to take on or to cause a negative emotion in somebody, that's interesting. And again, as you brought up in that emotional lens, because that looking ahead to what could be in the future, it's both optimism and this possibility of some great goal being achieved, but it's also, it brings on the sense of responsibility.
Yes.
And responsibility or an unknown future, it instills fear in some people. Right. And I think that's it's important for us to recognize that because it means something positive to you doesn't mean it's going to hit everybody else in a positive way.
Exactly. Well, you said something earlier that I thought was pretty good as well. Was really, and I think I'm gonna change up what you said a little bit, but this is how I received it. Was potential to me is number one. Initially, is an optimistic thing.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
But within the confines of the of optimism,
Right.
I think planning. You said that earlier, like you said about putting plans in
Goal
place.
setting.
Goal setting. There you go. Goal setting. So it go back to our automotive background, where you have SMART targets. We talked about this in previous conversations about
Absolutely.
SMART targets. Those being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Right. So in a person's mindset that have never heard of that terminology, it will cause some form of pressure, burden, and anxiety.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? When
Yep.
you talk about SMART targets, a lot of times we're not, I would say this, and I'm being very careful by saying this, we haven't developed ourselves as humans enough to reinforce, or maybe reinforcing isn't the right word, but prepare ourselves for a burdensome responsibility. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's the reason when we talked about the emotional lens, where people from the negative side will take on a responsibility. That responsibility becomes burdensome. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Why? Because they haven't really fully took a step back and really thought out and figured out whatever they're trying to do, that potential, does it resonate with them?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You got to find first, does this thing resonate with me? Does it really give me the drive,
Right.
and the proper development
Yes.
tools, to set my goals properly? Because are my goals set realistically?
Right.
You said that earlier, and I
Right.
think that's profound way of looking at how we should develop towards that. And whatever that potential is, is are we really, are we putting the right energy and the focus and the force
Right.
behind it? You see what I'm saying? I feel like I'm not hitting the nail on the head, because I have a particular thought that I have in my mind. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, bro. I want you to.
Well, I was thinking about. So the negative side is the surrounding elements, right? So when you went back to the scientific side,
Right.
you're talking about kinetic energy. So define kinetic energy again. It's basically based off of other things that's around it to allow it to produce some type of energy and force, right?
Kinetic energy is the energy an object has when it's in motion, right?
So the emotion's already set and it's moving forth, right?
You said in motion.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's in motion, right?
Yes.
So let's look at a vehicle, right? So you have your differential in your vehicle. You push the gas. By you pushing the gas, you're causing other things to operate. You have fuel tanks is injecting fuel to the engine, to the rails, to the rails to the engine. You have basically a living mechanical machine that operates based off of units and features speaking or communicating to one another, right?
Right.
So what does this car want to do? This car wants to move, right? The potential of
Right.
is a potential,
Right.
right? But let's go back further, that someone had to think of this vehicle in order for it to produce a motion in order to cause this vehicle to do what they envisioned it to do. Like if you look at Henry Ford,
Right.
the geniuses of the time, like Henry Ford, you would talk about the Dodge brothers. You talk about I can't think of the BMW. engineer. I can't think of it, because Honda. You have Honda,
Right.
you have Toyota.
Right.
All these guys with the names of cars that we drive now. These were actually engineers, right?
Yes, they were.
These individuals saw something. They put goals in place.
Right.
They saw the possibilities, and they allowed that possibilities to come to fruition, to actuality. What Aristotle said, what did he say earlier? He said about differentiated between potentiality and actuality, what something could become versus what it already is.
I love that.
They're talking about something that you're talking about, a vehicle. It didn't even exist,
Right.
but they had a vision in their mind in order to get it fulfilled.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's powerful. I think I went around the block on that one.
You good.
but-
You good.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, because I think an important point that I'm pulling out of what you're saying there is, and this is again as far as how the word potential can become negative. One, there's a few things, right, that can lead to a negative outcome for potential, and one of those things is if you're allowing somebody else to set all of your goals for you, there is a higher likelihood you're going to have some kind of negative experience as you're pursuing that goal. Doesn't mean that you can't have somebody else set a goal for you, but if you are always having all of your goals defined for you by someone else, that's when there starts to maybe become more pressure. Again, doesn't mean you can't do it, but have some goals for yourself at the same time, right? Because if you allow somebody else to set your goals for you, you may feel overwhelmed. You may lack the confidence that the goal that somebody else has set for you is actually achievable. One of your smart, the SMART acronym, whether it's actually achievable is one of those things, right? Can this actually be done? You may feel like somebody else has set a goal for you that maybe they can do that you don't think you can do, right? So it can lead to frustration. It can lead to feeling overwhelmed. It can lead to, again, like a sense of expectations on you that you feel are unrealistic or unachievable. And if that person has given you that goal and is not willing to take that goal back and you feel like it's not achievable, obviously a lot of anxiety, frustration, fear, so on and so forth, things are going to result from this person having given you a goal you don't agree with or think that you're capable of doing, right? So, there's a risk, there's a potential of frustration being there and negative emotions being there because someone else has given you a goal. Or you can say, okay, this person has confidence in me to get this job done. Let me try it and let me see what can happen, right? That's the beauty of potential, right? It's again, what did Aristotle say? It's what I can become versus what is.
Yes.
If they give me a goal I've never done before, I might look at that and say, I can't do that. Well, you haven't ever done that, but because you haven't done it doesn't mean you can't, right?
Yeah, right.
So don't let the fact that you haven't done something in the past convince you that it's not possible for it to be done, right? Try, right? Put your hand to the plow, give it an honest effort, try to, see what can come of it. And that's the other important thing. The other potential, we keep using this word as we're talking about it, right? But the other potential for negative emotions to arise as we're talking about that word potential is if you get too focused on the end goal and not finding satisfaction or appreciation in reaching the incremental steps or goals on that journey to getting to that final destination.
Very good.
I need to go, and we've brought up this example before. I want to run 5 miles, right? I don't just say, okay, I'm at the start line, the starting line, and then all of a sudden, boom, snap your fingers, and I'm at the 5 mile mark, and the race is done. No, if you're gonna run 5 miles, you got to get to mile marker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first, right? So if I start off and I run and I get to mile marker 1. And I'm not at the finish line yet. I'm frustrated. I wanted to be at the end of the race. I wanted to finish it. Here I am only at mile 1, where you're not going to get to mile 5 if you don't run 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, right? So finding it in yourself to not get so focused on the end goal and on perfection that you fail to realize that you've made steps and progress and growth along the way is another way you can have a sense of frustration come up from the word potential.
Man,
right?
That's pretty good. I I was thinking about kind of adding on to what you said in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Coming across how if someone gives you a task,
Yes.
right, and you say to yourself, and this is what you said about, I've never done it before. You said do a healthy effort in trying to get it done.
Exactly.
And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I believe that we are powerful creatures.
Absolutely.
I really believe
Absolutely.
that the humans are powerful creatures. And I think we do a disservice to ourselves when we don't put our capabilities in motion.
Agreed. Fully agreed.
Potential means nothing if you're not moving.
That's right.
Potential
Absolutely.
means nothing. It doesn't
Absolutely.
mean things. So,
Well,
you and I talked about the wasted potential, right?
yes.
And I was thinking to myself, like, that is a harsh term.
Yeah.
Like if someone say, wow, man, he could have been this, he could have been that, or she could have been this, or she could have been that, and you say to yourself, like, wow, that's wasted potential right there. And it's like, not necessarily. And the reason why I say that,
thank you. Yes. Yep.
because someone that sees the potential, they can take whatever that person desired not to do and apply it. You see what I'm saying? And it's and someone's going to do it. And that's the thing. Someone is going to, you and I can sit here all day long. Right. And talk about our ambitions to do something.
Right.
And it could be 10 years from now and we never do it.
Absolutely.
But someone that heard us talking about it decided to go ahead and do it.
Happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
Yep.
You know, and I knew you was about to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just, you brought it up already, right? That, wasted potential from an object that's sitting still, it's only wasted as long as you sit still, right?
Yes.
As long as you,
Exactly.
you resolve in your mind that I'm going to sit here and I can't do this thing and I'm not going to move, then the potential that you have, it's there, but you're wasting it. It's not being utilized right now. Right, that definition is the energy of an object has. It's the energy an object has before it starts moving and changing. As long as you say I'm going to sit here and not move and not change, then you have potential that's in you that you're wasting, but it's only being wasted until you move.
Yes.
Until you act.
Absolutely.
So once you start acting, the way to break that cycle, to feel like you have wasted potential, do something.
Yes.
Right? Do something. Make some kind of progress towards some kind of goal. And the potential energy that you have, and the potential that you have as a person, is not being wasted. So the solution for wasted potential is get up off your butt and do something. Yeah. Right?
So you know what? I love that, man, because you get, this is beautiful. So check this out. So I started thinking about if you're standing still,
yes,
there and you decide to start moving, because for one thing, the longer you stand still,
right,
the death comes. You see what I'm saying?
Move it or lose it.
You pretty much, right?
Yep.
That's just how it is. But one thing I do say is, as far as movement is concerned, like, and I wrote this down about, start jotting down your status. I think if you jot down your progress and your status, then you can see. And sometimes that builds up excitement.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Because you start,
and confidence too.
Like, hey, I'm not gonna. We're only at 57 or 56 subscribers, right?
Right.
Where we can easily, like you said earlier, we can easily say, man, we don't have 200,000. You said that a lot of people, the anxiety comes. And the frustrations and different things like that, because you're starting to look at someone else. Someone else's goals. When you're looking at someone else's goals and you're not looking at your own goals, then I can see why you start to see an unfulfillment in yourself because you're focusing on somebody else's goals.
That's right. That's right.
Their goals don't necessarily mean they're your goals.
That's true. That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But what you need to do is try to find a way to learn what they have done.
Right.
Because right now, the comparison, what is the saying?
Compare themselves among themselves are not wise.
You're not wise,
Yep.
And I think that causes many of us stagnation, and I know the word you hate is lackadaisical. I remember you said you hated that word.
It's funny, man.
But I think that's what it is. That's what we do. Potential is a beautiful word, but once you got to realize that when you recognize that there's potential there, you have to put it in motion.
Yes,
I think that's the key in my mind. And I said, oh yeah, we were talking about jotting it, taking notes.
Yes,
of progress,
right,
moving forward, and you make sure you capture
right
and record where you started to where you headed. Once again, to go back with we only have 57 subscribers or whatnot. I can easily say, man, let's just give up. Ain't nobody coming. But what are you here for? You're not here for 57 subscribers. You're here for education. You're here for developing people.
Absolutely.
And people to develop us as well. You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
And if said, what we need to do is say, hey, we're only at 57 subscribers. I can't wait till we get to 100.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I can't wait till we get to 200.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if we get so lofty in our thoughts, sometimes we miss the goal because you're looking too far off. How many times have you driven down the road and you look too far ahead and you didn't realize the person right in front of you put the brake lights on? Happens all the time.
That's right.
You see,
That's
and what happens is you're going to have to make a knee-jerk reaction, and sometimes you overcorrect.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times this happens when you have to overcorrect something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you would have just I think we're getting away from potential, but
it's all right. It's all right.
But I think it's worth saying, because what we want to do is we will like for people to understand that they mean something.
Yes.
You mean something. You have potential. I look at it like this. There are people that are born that do not have activities of their limbs. There's some they don't have arms, and they have children. They don't have arms, and they're still driving cars. They're folding laundry. They're doing so many things.
That's right.
So they didn't allow those handicaps.
Absolutely.
You understand, to stop them.
Yep.
Those capabilities, and to me, that's phenomenal. So that gives me no excuse to perform.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
I love it.
So the potential, this person did not allow. They saw a focus in the vision. This woman that didn't have arms, she said, I see in the future I'm gonna have a child.
I love it.
And she moved.
Right. Right.
Hey,
that's the key.
You see what I'm saying? So I think that's a beautiful thing. You know,
Yep.
I saw someone that didn't have something, I can't remember, arms, and he was driving or something, something like that. It was something. He didn't. You don't allow those setbacks. And they probably don't even look at them as, because we have activities of our limbs, they are probably not feeling sore about their condition. You understand what I'm saying? We are the ones that are looking at them as handicapped, but they're probably not even looking at themselves as handicapped.
Very true.
They're making things happen.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So
that's right.
I think I talked too much.
No, you're good, man. I mean, I think that's just, it's an important point, right? And kind of going back to what you were talking about as far as like a person that sets out to have a channel to entertain 1 million people, and they might get to that goal. And sure, there's benefits, right? There's monetary benefits, there's sponsorship, there's all these things that come with, I want to launch a channel to entertain a million people, and you get to that. But if my goal is to teach a person, right? If I'd be satisfied at teaching one person, a person with 1 million subscribers to entertain them hasn't really necessarily taught anybody anything. So again, setting a goal because, well, this person did it and they got money for it, so I want to do the same thing. Is that a rational, reasonable goal for you? Is that if that's what you find your purpose in, is just I want to get a channel with 1 million people, watching it so I can entertain them or whatever. If that's your goal, that's fine. But if that's not your goal and you're looking at something somebody else has accomplished and then setting that up as a goal for yourself that really has no foundation in your purpose, your skill set, your desires, other than you saw somebody maybe made money that way, then that's where, it's more fulfilling. If we have 57 subscribers that we've benefited in some way, I'd rather have that than be entertaining 1 million people, right?
Yeah,
What's more meaningful. So, again, setting your own goals, having things that you find fulfilling and meaningful in your life are going to be things that you do to make potential a positive thing in your life. I love, one of my favorite movies, probably my favorite movie is 300. And I love when Leonidas, showed up on the mountaintop when he was meeting with the other Greeks, and I forgot what group they were. But he came up there and they're like, we thought Sparta was going to have a bigger commitment than just bringing this little handful of soldiers in. Right. And he started, Leonidas started asking, well, this soldier from this other army, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And one's a blacksmith and one's a baker or whatever, what I mean? Just making a farmer, all kind of other things. And then he asked his 300, Sparta, what is your profession? And it's like their profession was war. So I can get distracted thinking that, okay, you have this huge army. But if your army of 10,000 people is all farmers and weaklings, I'm not worried about that. You know what I mean? It's like your goal has to be based on what you see for yourself and what means something to you and what goals are you going to set out and accomplish. Sometimes a teacher or mentor may see some potential in you and set up goals. I know I've had that before. I've had teachers who had more belief in me than I had in myself at the time. So true. So they set you up and give you challenges, and you may look at it like, I can't do this, you know what I mean? But they see a potential in you, so they push you to get you to realize, yes, you can do this. Yes, you do have this potential. This is a realistic and realizable goal for you. Just because you can't see it, I'm not going to give you some tempered down goal that's going to hold you back. I want you to exceed. I want to give you a stretch target that's going to make you realize and see the potential in you that I see in you.
I love that. I love that. I think the that's a very good point. When someone outside of you is able to see the potential that you have, and they put forth the effort to develop that,
investing in you,
develop, and point out things that you don't recognize right offhand.
Right.
When that's love.
It is.
That is love.
Absolutely.
One thing that you said about potential is, how do we tap into that potential when it is dormant? Right? Like, because I believe all of us have potential. I believe all of us have, God has given us a power within. Absolute power within. But I think a lot of times we don't tap into that potential is because we have other lofty desires in some way, right? Whatever it is, man. And if someone say, Ethan, what do you mean by that? It's just like, all you got to do is take a step back and just think about your own thoughts, right? You know what I'm saying? You have to think about laziness. What are you being lazy at? What are you settling for?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I started thinking about, the goals about 50 or so odd subscribers versus, 10,000 or 100,000, subscribers, right? And I started thinking about that, and the person that is his desire or his or her desire is just to entertain,
right? Is
to do some, and if that's what you want to do, fine. I'm not knocking it or anything like that. That's what you want to do. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? Fine. Some of the stuff I think is entertaining. Sure. When I watch some of the stuff, it's cool too.
Right.
But I look at two words that you and I talked about earlier, and I think that these are two words that we should talk about. Fleeting, right? How fleeting that entertainment is after
Right.
a while.
Right.
Because if you go doing the scrolls,
Right.
you constantly scrolling, that means that dopamine only lasted for 2 or 3 seconds, right?
Yep.
And you're constantly scrolling. We don't want that.
That's right.
We don't want that. We want some food. We want some sustenance that can land,
Right.
and it can sit there. And the other word is limitations. And I think that the potential that we want to establish, the potential that causes us to move, it doesn't create limitations.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it does what it does is it creates a value. It creates kinetic energy. You understand what I'm saying? I no longer want to have potential. I want to create this potential to kinetic energy.
Convert it.
Yeah, I want to convert it. There you go. I want to convert it to kinetic energy, similar to a flywheel on a vehicle. When you get that flywheel going, there's nothing stopping that thing, man. It's going to coast.
That's right.
And it's designed for that.
For sure.
And so what I want to try to encourage anyone is we were designed for transferring potential into motion. We just got to what we have to do is figure out what is it that will cause us to move.
Right.
Simplicity, just a simple thing to move.
Right.
You know, and another thing is this, and I'm going to just shut up and let G have this.
Okay.
But if it's fleeting, then it's either you haven't focused on it, or I haven't focused on it right or properly. I haven't clearly defined what the goals are, and what I truly want.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I think that potential that we all have, we should investigate it a little bit, man. I really do, because if it's just sitting there, potential, once again, is it wasted? Or do you want to do something with it, right? You know, so, but go ahead, bro.
No, it's that soul searching, right? It's like trying to find. And what's up to Willie's Workshop? I see Mikey's on there with us, so on the chat. But figuring, doing the soul searching, doing the work to figure out what you can do, what makes you feel, what pleases you to do, what makes you feel fulfilled, and seeking after those things, right? And I think that if I were to have like a parting instruction or challenge or whatever you want to call it, it's embrace progress over perfection. You don't have to have the finished product.
I love it.
Right from the start. You do not get to a finished product without taking and finding out and taking steps, along that journey, in that path, right? So with that, don't get so focused on the end goal. Don't get so focused on perfection, on what's out there in the future that you forget to acknowledge and recognize and celebrate as you're going through those steps along the way. Because that is, and I'm not saying this to be preachy. I'm saying this from a hard-learned life lesson that took me bumping my head a lot of times before I stopped and realized that you have to be able to celebrate the little wins. What you mentioned earlier, I started laughing when you said it, because I found that I have to do that. When you said like writing down, you said it like in terms of goals, but I have to do that. Forgetful, whatever the case is, I have to do that. I found it's helpful for me to do that and write down little blessings and accomplishments and things like that. Good. Things that I can go back, and if I start getting into this negative mindset or this mindset of discouragement or this mindset of despair, or I've been left behind or abandoned or not accomplished, whatever the case is, I found that keeping a little list for myself of, you did this, you accomplished this goal, right? Maybe it's not the finished product, but it means that I wasn't sitting still.
Yes.
Right. It's a step on that journey. It's on the path. Maybe I didn't get to the end of the goal today, but I took 10 steps. That's better than being stagnant and being static and sitting there and not moving and not doing anything. So learn how to discover and celebrate the wins on the journey. And if it takes you being like I've had to be, and sometimes writing those things down, so that if I start getting into a negative mindset, I can go and open up that list and remember, nope, you did something. Nope, you accomplished something. You had a goal. You are not today where you were yesterday, so celebrate that. And because if you keep taking steps and making increment, even if it's incremental progress, eventually you're going to get to where you're trying to go. And that's something to celebrate, right? So embrace progress over perfection.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. I want to just, I want to leave this last thought right here for me is, it's personal. It's a personal thing. I think that this it's not only a word, but it's a process. Potential, right? You know what I mean? It's a starting point. Potential is a starting point.
Yes.
Right. You know. I think I caused my own. I would say motion to be stunted, maybe my growth stunted. Stunted, yeah. Can't you say the word right?
You good, bro?
But I was thinking about I have tons of music that I've done, and I'm about to use wasted potential, right? But I think that I've how much music since 2005 I've done music. I have a hard drive full of music that I just do not release. I've only released maybe 3 projects or 3 or 4 projects. And you and I, we've done a couple of things. But I think to myself that all of that potential sound, music, and time, I don't want to waste that.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I believe that the music that I believe that God, our Heavenly Father, has blessed me with is to be shared.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So I think I'm doing a disservice, and that's why this word hits home to me because I'm not tapping into the potential that is already stored. I've done a lot of stuff with my music, but I haven't. It's only a few people that actually listen to my craft, and I think it's because of my own I'm my worst critic, and I believe Erykah Badu said this one time. She was like, I'm kind of sensitive about my craft, right? You know what I'm saying? For it to get criticized, it does something to you, for sure, right? For sure. And to me, I think, like with Erykah Badu, she's been around for years, right? And she's released a lot of music, right? For her to still say that, it's like, wow, that's
she's human.
Yeah, and that's the thing right there. You just hit the nail on the head. Human. So we have to strengthen whatever those burdens are that's keeping us not to explore and take a journey. Because if you're not journeying, you're not using your potential. You're stagnant. Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you're not moving on that path, you're stagnant. So, and I think we have a live example here as you were discussing it, right? You've been doing music 20 years. You said you only released 3 or 4 projects, but you've released projects. Right? Seriously.
Right.
You've been doing music for 20 years. You're sitting on a lot of music that hasn't been released, but have you ever tried releasing music that hasn't been created?
Wow.
Right? So you've created a library, a hard drive full of music. And while you haven't released all of it, you've taken the steps of creating a full hard drive worth of music, right? So again, celebrate those incremental steps, man. Yes, you want to release more of it. That's great.
Yeah.
Right? But in order for you to release music, you got to make music, right? And you've taken the steps to make it. You've taken the steps to try to perfect it, to improve it. You've been working on honing your craft during that time. So yes, it's great that you have a goal of I like to release more, but you have released and you have created. You know what I mean? So sure. Yes, there's further steps to go, but you've taken steps on that journey.
Yeah.
It hasn't been wasted potential. It hasn't been wasted time.
Yeah.
It's been time spent on a bigger goal. You just haven't crossed that finish line yet, but you're running the race, right?
G, I keep you around for a reason.
I try, man. I try every now and then.
Hey, y'all, this is I don't think I have anything else to say. I just want to say that I really appreciate whoever's watching the show and it's being built up. Our whole goal here is if you have that potential, I really believe that Let Your Words Count have a potential to help others.
Absolutely.
And challenge yourself daily with a new word, with potential. If this word potential works out for you, hey, let it be a blessing for you. Right. Take it on a journey, take it somewhere, move. Just don't be stagnant. Don't try your best. Consider this. Like Paul would say, consider what I say, and the Lord would give you understanding in all things, right? So I'm signing out. G, you got any last words?
I am all good, sir. Thank you all for joining us on this journey, is all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. All right. God bless you. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're interested, leave us a word. We can talk about it and have a discussion with it. All right. Absolutely. God bless y'all.
God bless you. Y'all take it easy.